You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net. Good evening, Tamara. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, Al. How about you?
Oh, not too bad. Can't complain.
That's good.
Been worse. It was actually.
I got an owie today.
You got an owie.
My dog, the big dog, he didn't bite me, but he was like all excited, and then my arm went up and his tooth went in.
Oh, yeah.
He kind of like gored me, right? So I've got to it's actually quite swollen. But yeah, but he didn't mean it. Like it wasn't like he like, ow,
right? Yeah,
that's
the big lad that you got there. That's not one of those little chihuahuas.
That's why I was kind of like leaning over because he's laying right here. Because like I said, it's just easier to have them all on the bed right here rather than having them all over. Because then they don't make quite as much noise.
Yeah. They want to be with Mom.
Naya has been quite ill-mannered. And if she's not let in the bedroom and the gate's put up, she will sit outside that door and cry. And I mean like, whoa, like pit bull, right? So she has pretty much like pushed her way and bullied everybody and now thinks she rules the house. And she's a guest.
How long though?
Well, she's been here quite a while, and I'm not sure exactly when Talia's coming to pick her up. Things have changed so much in the last couple of weeks. She's moving back from Vancouver to I don't even want to talk.
Yeah, no problem.
Anyways, this is how we were talking about this before the show started, but I want to mention this producer out of Creston. It's small microcraft. It's not a large producer. And they're at a Creston, BC, but the jar, it's a jar, it's glass.
Glass jar?
Yeah, it's a glass jar. And it's
not plastic?
No, it's not plastic. Well, it is plastic, but it's glass. And I thought that was rather cool. There was one other provider, I can't remember, that was using black glass jars. I can't remember which one it was. Because anything else I bought is either in a bag. And this one here is plastic. And the last one that I got, these are all been decent producers by any stretch. This one here, of course, is plastic. This one is actually out of Quebec. These are the Three Saints. It was cookies. It was really good. But this is glass. So I just wanted to
glass.
Yeah. I thought it was fun because you don't see that often because
glass is heavier, shipping costs.
More expensive. Like it's more expensive, right? To purchase. Yeah. So I thought, and the cannabis is decent. It was actually fresh. Like when you cure it proper and it's nice and sticky when you first get it, and not dry as a popcorn fart and with no bend. This stuff is nice and squishy and it's got some stickiness to it. Yeah,
spongy. I guess you can say spongy.
Yeah, it's got the sticky sponge. Yeah, so it's not like been sitting on a shelf for 2.5 years.
Yeah. That's how we were testing the Karma Cup stuff.
Right? I did tune in and was.
Oh, did you? Oh, yes. I remember that. That's right. You did tune in.
Comments on there, but how did that end up? Because I had to go. So how did that end up turning?
Oh, okay. Well, it took us 5 hours to do the 7 indica strains and smoke the 7 pre-rolls that we had. Al had the sativas at his end and reported on them as we went throughout the broadcast. No, it went good. There was started out, there were 6 of us, and it went to 7 when, not counting Al, but Al was there because he's in the screen.
I saw him on the virtual editing.
Yeah, he put himself on the table. It looks like he's part of the circle, right?
At the end of the table. Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, and yeah, we did all of them slowly but surely. In the beginning, it was a little slow because getting into the groove, and then we got going through them. We got going to them pretty good because we learned that instead of doing each question and passing it around like 7 times or 8 times, then you as it went by you sort of looked at 3 or 4 of those things, and it only went around twice, and so that speeded things up. So in the end, like I said, it was 5 hours long, and I've started to um, now to take it apart and cut it down into small little shows, and it'll be actually tonight at 4:20.
Oh, nice.
At least the getting started, and that was basically the setup, how we were going to do things, so on and so forth. So like that one was like half an hour long, but then I did like for example, sample one, created a video just for sample one, created a video just for sample 2, 3, 4, all the way along, and some of them were only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes long, so they're probably about that average wise in that length, and we'll slowly release them through the network, as
Yeah.
well as use them in on the Saturday re-rolls.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
and we go through all the questions that are on the question in the questionnaire, and
Well, make sure
everybody had their phone, but one fella, and we're inputting the results as we were doing the actual test.
that's awesome. You,
Yeah.
if you wouldn't mind, put them in the access area so I can get them, because a lot of times when I'm doing my show by myself, I can fill 10 minutes of time by playing one of your videos.
Oh yeah, sure. I can put
Yeah. Sometimes when I'm doing the show by myself, I mean, believe it or not, I can't stop talking and run out of shit to say. So believe it or not, I can. I can talk for 10 minutes straight too if I want to. But that way
It's
it's
nice to have the video.
yeah,
Sure, yeah,
it's just like I said, at the end of the show, if I'm like running like, I only got 10 minutes left and I don't feel like talking anymore, then I can throw that
yeah,
in before, and
yeah.
slowly get them out too. So I think, yeah, if
Great.
any of your little stuff that you want, throw it all in there.
Oh, like, yeah. Like I've created flame ops. I've
Yeah,
created the
absolutely.
little bud
Yeah.
commercials or
I mean, don't
promos.
like if it's gonna take you a whole pile of time, like, but if just
Oh
throw them
no,
all.
it doesn't take long to upload it
Yeah, throw
into the
stuff all over
thing.
there,
Well,
and then
yeah. Well, here. Let me see. Here's an example.
I can use it.
Those videos.
I like the mug shots because
Yeah,
I appreciate them all because I like taking pictures of my own plants. And honestly, I don't have any plants this year. I think the first
yeah,
year I have at least 2 growing, but none of my seeds. I haven't even tried. To be fair, I didn't even try.
yeah. Let's It's just
Just
something to
easier.
throw in together as filler and show people things that never actually. I never show my pictures normally online. I look at it as being window shopping.
Well, I've got around TikTok's algorithms. I can use just the word "the plant." People get it,
The plant, okay, yeah.
right?
Respect the plant.
Right.
That's the
So I'm
thing.
just using the word "the plant" when I talk, rather than using cannabis, because then they don't tag me or get
No,
me
because a
for
plant could be anything. Yeah.
right. And like, and I know that what was the guy? What's the guy? Cecil, whatever from High Magazine. Is that his
Oh,
name?
sigh.
Guy, right?
Yeah.
He had an account, but I see it's not there anymore either. So because he was showing a bunch of stuff too,
Well, yeah, cannabis, right?
right? And I mean, because I don't, like I said, I don't know where exactly, but again, it's not legal everywhere. So yeah, but I mean, these things are not always so easy to get into. I figured I'd try this one because I tried that one already. I
Oh,
figured I'd try this one. This one's Good Buds, and it's a living organic. They use living soil
oh,
organic.
living organic soil.
Yeah. So that's what this one's produced, and I don't know where they're from. Let me see if it tells me here. Oh, Salt Spring Islands, BC. Good
Living
Buds.
organic soil. Nice.
Yep, so living soil organics, it says. And this
Mhm.
is called Paramble BX, and it's an OG Kush cross with a GG4 cross Afghani. This is a hybrid. Like it's got
Mhm.
three different. And let me see what the terpenes are. Okay,
Does
THC.
that?
THC, it says 49.64 milligrams. Total T CBD 0.1, total CBD total 1.02. Terpenes 3.13%. Total terpenes 3.13%. This was June 3rd is when this was packaged.
June 3rd. Okay, so that's not that long ago. You said it's a craft grower? Excuse me.
It says small batch, living soils, slow cure, hand dried, petite lots, well, small lots, right? Because then it goes
Small,
into small
small
batch,
bat.
soil, slow cure, hang dried,
Mm-hmm.
aroma, pine, citrus fuel, limonene, 8, caraphyllene,
Those are
Chinese.
terpenes.
So yeah, they got the terpenes there.
Yeah.
Family owned and operated.
Yeah.
Family owned and operated.
Small
Fed only,
craft.
yeah,
Yeah,
fed only
I was
recap.
reading. What's that?
It says fed only pure recaptured rainwater.
That's what they use to water?
That's what it says. Fed only pure.
Oh, holy smokes. That's in a licensed producer. Wow. Because I read a report, saw a headline on it, said that micro growers now outnumber the large producers.
Well, you can tell that this is pretty squishy.
Oh, yes. I have to blow it up so I can see a little bigger. Than... You want to bring that back? Hang on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, you're a little fuzzy. Back up a little bit. Yeah. Okay, it's not flattened out or anything. That's good.
No, it's nice, but it's not big bugs by any stretch. They're like that's the average size for all of them, right?
Right,
And
right.
it's
Well,
really
hey, listen to that little popcorn things, and sometimes those buds. The nice thing about that is you're not paying for
but
lumber.
the other ones from
Yeah.
Creston are like this, and it's a nice lime
Oh,
green,
yeah,
and you can see the crystal on this one, right?
yeah.
So
That's like
this,
when we were doing the Karma Cup judging. Even though it wasn't a question, it was things that we were looking at as far as lumber when it came to the indica samples.
I think this stuff has been machine trimmed because it's so tightly trimmed, and there's no crystal. You can
Oh,
tell that it's machine
oh, no
because they take
crystal.
the crystal right off, right? That's how they make all that beautiful hash.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a fan of the machine trim. I'm just not a fan of it.
Oh, I used the machine one year, like as far as like a tabletop trimmer. No, I had a friend there, Dr. Buck.
Yep.
I had him do some trimming for me, and that saved a lot of time. I'll
Yeah.
tell you, big time.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you do lose KIF in the process on the machines.
Lots of it.
Now, you lose it in the process of you're doing hand trimming because you lose it in your hands or you lose it on your scissors, depending on how you all the thing. But yeah, I know what you mean. I spent
Well,
3.5 hours cleaning a hand trimmer afterwards so I could give it back
right,
to the owner.
right,
Yeah,
yeah, right. So you figure they do that, then they make the hash out of that too, right?
yeah.
So it's
Actually, some
kind
of
of
the
like,
buds were in those. Some of those buds we trimmed with the machine were in that video.
right. But like I said, I'm not. I see when we were doing bit large trims like that too, like by hand. We'd always wear gloves too. Then you take the gloves and then you soak the ends of the gloves in ISO, and then you get some nice.
Some people put the gloves in the freezer.
Well, we do that first too, right? And then we ISO them. Like we put
Oh,
them in cold ISO, and then because it just do a quick rinse with them,
yeah, quick wash. Yeah.
and just the tips, like where you see, right? And then if we're doing hand trim, we did that one year. We just like rub our fingers together, we had a bunch of finger hash, right? Like,
Mm.
yeah, yeah. You learn as you go. What's the best
Oh
methods?
yeah.
When you've been doing it as many years as we have, like we've tried pretty much everything but the machine because I don't think we ever had access to the machine or we thought it was a ridiculous price to do. And we never were trimming any more than 30 plants at a time anyway, right?
Right,
So the
right.
four of us, we usually had her done within about 3 days. And that
Oh,
wasn't sitting
yeah,
all day
that's nice.
because we were working all day. And then, well, yeah, but I mean, we could never grow them 12 feet tall. They were in a basement room, right? They could
Right.
only have to do
Yeah,
like,
I would. Yeah, usually a week doing my gardens. Yeah.
yeah. Well, like I said, when there's four of us, sometimes there's five of us sitting around,
Right.
right? So that way it went a little quicker. So, and a lot of times, the one time that my friend and I had to sit there and do the whole thing by ourselves because both our husbands were away working, right? And
Oh yeah.
we were doing it
Yeah.
as a partnership with them because then it was quicker. We had like we didn't have the
Good.
room for all of it, so they did the beginning and the veg over there, and then we did the ending at our place, and then we'd
Right.
split everything half and half, and we were all patients, and that way,
Yeah.
yeah, it
That's
worked for all of us, right?
that's what we did. We would meet at a friend's place who had a large license. When it was time to harvest, we go there and sit there, throughout the day and trim.
Well, we both what
Just
happened
talk
was,
and trim. That's all we
yeah,
did. It was always a good time.
like my first licensing was only 7 grams a day,
Right.
and so was hers. So they would do the 49 there in clone and veg, and then we would have, you know, like
Yeah.
whatever, not quite 49 in flour all the time because of the 49 being kind of cut in half with cloning and veg over there.
Right.
We did it so that we could have at least 30 always coming down at a time, right? So
Right.
that way, and like I said, it worked out well for until we moved to
This
Coronation.
well, this person had an ounce, 30 grams a day. So
Oh yeah,
they had all those plants. So that's what we would do.
plants.
And
That's all
then, there was always those extras that ended up, and they would be called farmers' finds,
right.
because that's what the farmer found.
When we moved up to the farm, like that's when Alvin got his licensing too. So then I
Yeah.
got mine raised to 14
Yeah.
and he had 20. So we could have 98 and I think we could have 200 almost 198 in total, right?
Right.
Between the two of us. So that was,
That's
and then
lots
we
of
were doing,
plants. Yeah.
and even the two of us, like we didn't have the room to do that many, but there was
Mm.
still like 90 because I always had 30, 30, and 30 going, right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Alvin
I've
had grown
had
his
the.
feet and everything was downstairs. So I was doing all the down, running up and down the stairs. He couldn't even go down the stairs.
Mm.
That by myself took me almost 4 hours a day just to do watering, making sure there was no bugs, making sure that all the leaves,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
moving
it's
things
just so
around,
simple. Just
transplanting.
throw
Like
some,
it was a
throw
full.
seed in some dirt. Just throw some seed in the dirt. There's nothing to it.
No, I wish it was. I did that with tomatoes. Okay, I've got tomatoes growing like that, but I mean, but
Yeah.
again, if you're growing indoors, it's a little more it's different because if you're
You're
outdoor, you
Mother
don't
Nature.
have bugs, right? You're gonna have bugs on your plants because it's outside. But if you got like stuff going on the inside, like yeah, it's the same as outside. Like that's why I figured out this year why my plants always ended up being fucked is because that Virginia creeper that I've got growing up the side of the outside, aphids. And so the aphids
Oh,
then be attached to the pot of the cannabis outside, and then I
yeah.
bring it inside, and that's why it would die. Right? Because I'm seeing it happen outside to my peas right now. They're just encompassed my peas, and they're just like, I've
Oh,
soaked them. I've Dawn dish soaked everything, but that
where do
Virginia
where do they live when they're not all over your plants?
the Virginia creeper, like they're just like they're aphids or these little green freaking aphids, and that creeper seems to attract them. I don't know,
Oh, okay.
like it's on my front one too, and every year
Yeah.
I fight with those dang aphids every year, and that's what's killing my everything up. So,
Wow, that's not good.
no, and I can't get rid of that Virginia creeper. I've cut it. I've done
Yeah,
everything to try, and it just keeps coming back.
yeah. I've got a report on a story here
No,
that sort of deals with you. Yeah, in inflammatory arthritis patients report sustained relief from cannabis,
oh yes,
and you with your arthritis. Yeah, yeah.
is
They
it?
say there's 350 million people like yourself around
Yeah.
the world that deal with that.
Oh yeah, and it
Yeah.
depends. There's so many different types, right? Because even
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
is a form of an inflammatory arthritis. So people, when they get gout, they're not realizing that that's actually a form of an autoimmune inflammatory arthritis, right? And
Oh,
it gets it gets inflamed by eating red meat, drinking too much alcohol. Well, that's like any inflammatory disease, right? I can't be pounding back steaks every night and drinking every day. I look like
no.
what might be. I wouldn't be able to walk. I would not be doing anything.
Um, they said that where did it go? There's a certain line I was looking for. Um, isn't that one there?
You don't have any issues with any arthritis at all with having Crohn's.
Pardon me?
You don't have any arthritis at all, like RA or anything
Well,
with your Crohn's.
yeah, they've told me my knees. I feel it all over.
Is it osteo or
Some
is it?
days I'll tell you.
Well, then you probably do have like because a lot of the times, and they say that a lot of our gut health, right, goes along with a lot of the other autoimmune diseases that we have, and
Yeah.
like because we lack a certain bacteria, blah blah blah. There's all kinds of wacky stuff out there
Hmm.
you can get into, but I know that my colitis since I started taking methotrexate has improved. Like I wouldn't say it's cured. It's not cured. It's
No.
not even in remission, but it's better. Like I'm not it's not as bad, I guess. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They say that patients reported reduced pain and sustained improvements in their health-related quality of life.
I
Isn't
would
that
agree.
what we always say?
I would agree with that.
Quality of life?
I would agree with that. I wouldn't say like when I'm in excruciating pain, I'm sorry, I gotta tap and take some hydromorphine. Like if I can't move my
Right.
arm down,
Oh, yeah, it's not gonna win all the time.
me to ward off the nausea that I get from that too, right?
Right.
Hand in hand, I don't care what it's doing to help. It does help. Like it, it does. It
Yeah.
does a lot. Like I said, I don't. There's no way of describing how or why. It just does. It gives us better quality of
Mhm.
life. And that's what my doctor in Hannah said when I explained to him. And he looked at me and he goes, "I'm not so sure it's helping your inflammation and your cold." He says, "But if you're telling me it's making your life better and it's giving you some quality of life, I'm on board with that." And he signed
Yeah.
without it.
That's all that
Yeah,
was important. That's all that was important.
he all he cared about was my quality of life. He never
Yeah.
questioned anything else. Like, does it make you feel better? Okay. And he was like, he owned the clinic in Hannah, Alberta, to be fair. But he
Mm.
also was getting a kidney transplant because he had knee problems and had eaten too many Percocets. So he
Oh.
refused that if I was rather take this than Percocets, and he knew firsthand what Percocets could do to you, he was all,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
he's like,
that's
"Hey, you're
see,
not asking me for Percocets, you're asking me to sign a cannabis licensing. Oh, sign
that's
me."
why, you know,
Yeah.
um, people have that choice to do perks, oxys or whatever, or cannabis, and back then for me, like 2006, when I talked to the doctor, He questioned, how does it work, so on and so forth. And I said, hey, you ever given me a prescription for an opiate drug?
Right.
And he hadn't. So,
Right. So at
yeah,
that time, I hadn't been diagnosed with RA yet. Right. This was
right.
back in Hannah, so I didn't have I probably did. I just wasn't diagnosed. I wasn't. No, back then I hadn't evolved to that yet. Like it hadn't really started really presenting itself at that
Yeah,
point in time, right? And so that was a non-question. That was not even in the equation at the time. So
yeah.
yeah,
I've never talked to the doctor as far as using it for arthritis, but using it for my Crohn's, it helps with other conditions. And the same thing, that report there on the arthritis said that not only did it help the patients with their arthritis, but it also helped them with their other ailments.
right. Well, arthritis was always on the schedule one. It was
Oh,
arthritis. It
it was the
was
main one. Yeah,
and I can't remember there was only three of them, wasn't it? MS, arthritis, and something
there was
else.
cancer.
Cancer. That's it.
In the
There was
beginning, they had a short qualifying list,
very
and then
short
they
one,
had other.
right? And then
Yeah,
because of Michelle, right, and her pushing and pushing and pushing, right, there she is over your shoulder.
yeah.
Q form was then came along, and that introduced then IBS, Crohn's, colitis, and several, pardon me, other ailments,
Mhm.
right? Lupus, which wasn't on there either. There were several other ones added, and that's thanks to that beautiful angel right there. And I will give
Yeah.
her all the credit for that because she really was the key speaker on that.
Push, 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 push.
Well,
You
like she
know?
told me one time, she goes, "Let's get you legal tomorrow." She goes, "You get all your diagnoses, and we'll get you signed up. We'll get you a doctor. I'll pay for it. I don't care because you can be louder if you're legal." She says to me.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? Exactly.
So the
A
day
lot of
my
patients,
colonoscopy,
even including myself, but once it became legal,
right? You can be
there
louder. Is what
was,
you always told me, right? And the day I
yeah,
got
speak
my colonoscopy,
loud.
and I came home with my papers in my hand, and I hadn't been online because I'd been at the hospital having my colonoscopy and my diagnosis. I got
Yeah,
an email from Jeff telling me that she was gone. She was gone. So the day that
yeah.
I got my diagnosis, that was the day that Michelle.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yes.
right. And she
It,
was a huge part of my life, even though I'd never met her in person. I had never because I had gone and met Mark and Jody the weekend before in Calgary, and the
right.
weekend her and Jeff were coming the following weekend to Calgary. I had a flare and I couldn't drive. I couldn't go anywhere. I was stuck to a toilet all weekend.
Oh, okay, because the flare. Yeah, yeah, that's not gonna allow you to go anywhere.
So yeah, so I couldn't go anywhere, and I was just devastated. So I never, and then she got sick, and I just never. But we talked on the phone and we emailed back and forth a lot because I had the packages and I'd take them to the doctor's offices and stuff. And
Yeah,
yeah, but yeah, when she got sick, it was really hard. She kind of cocooned herself back, and she wasn't really talking to anybody. She sent me the odd email, and I talked to
right.
Jack. But yeah, I came home to an email from him.
Yeah, well, last I saw her was at the Treating Yourself Expo.
Yeah, and
So it's been basically, that was 2010,
yeah,
so 14 years ago. Because it
yeah.
was in July, I believe, that year.
I went out to Vancouver, and one of the first things I did was me and Sandra. Sandra picked me up from the hotel, and we went
Mhm.
up to her bench. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
the second time I was out there with Deb Stoltz Giffen, we went to see Michelle's bench too. And Debbie couldn't walk that far because of her MS. She had a walker.
Oh, yeah, mass, yeah.
Didn't get to make it there. She just couldn't make it there. And then
No.
the other time I was out there is when um, they put Guppy's ashes underneath the bench with hers. Bert, we went out there with Bert, and we put Guppy's ashes underneath Michelle's bench with her
Oh,
ashes.
you just?
Uh-huh. And then Michelle's ex-husband got a hold of me when her mom passed away, and they didn't know where the bench was. So I gave them directions to get to the bench, and I connected them with Sandra, and they all went out and put M's ashes underneath that bench with Michelle's and Bert's.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
few people hanging around there then.
Yeah, and next time I go to Vancouver, I will go sit on that
That'd be
bench.
better.
It's a big thing. I got pictures of me and Sandra there too. But yeah, it's a thing. People go out there on her anniversary. They went out there. Mel wasn't welcome, so we took roses and dropped them off. Mel went and dropped roses off before everybody else got there because Jody had.
Oh yeah, and that way, yeah.
And Mel won't go anywhere near Emirates, right? And Jody, there was just no way. So
No
yeah,
way.
big kerfuffle too. But anyways, we got the roses to the bench, and that's all that mattered. So.
Right. Well, that's what matters. You got
right?
them there.
Right, and that was a memory of our dearest friend, Michelle.
Yeah. Yes. All right. It is break time. Bottom of the hour. Time for us to let people know who sponsors the network, keeps us voices going, so that we can bring guests and talk about educational stuff. Oh.
That's got some nice flavor too. You can tell that they're using living soil. That's for sure. You can taste.
All right. Well, we'll learn more after the break. You get some more testing going on when we're gone. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We are live here at paceradio.net. As soon as I can find the right button. There we go. Bye-bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Are you looking to get your medical cannabis grow license? Limestone City Hydroponics can help patients through the process of obtaining their license to grow medical cannabis. What's that? You don't have a doctor. If you meet the medical criteria, Limestone City Hydroponics has a nurse practitioner who can assess and provide medical cannabis prescriptions. What are you waiting for? Contact Limestone City Hydroponics at limestonecityhydroponics.ca or call them at 613-548-0420.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Hey, welcome back. We're live here at paceradio.net. Well, Tamara, how was it? Before the break, just so everybody knows who just maybe just tuned in during the break. Tamara lit a joint before the break, and she was really impressed with that first puff.
Guess who's calling?
The flavor. Huh?
Guess who's calling? Guess who's calling?
Oh, Ellen. Oh. So how was the tote?
Oh, it's lovely. It's like I said, you can tell that it's grown in soil for sure, like the living soil. You can taste that beautiful flavor. I love that flavor. Like it's just got
Yeah.
nice flavor. You can it's nice. And like I said, I've been smoking it now for what? Commercials 2.5 minutes, and I'm still. It's not even halfway in the. It's
Yeah.
nice and gray, and yeah, it's beautiful. So yeah, I'm
Nice
super
gray
impressed.
ash.
And
Good
this one is
stuff.
the family owned one on Salt Spring Islands in British Columbia. So again, I was kind of, what, because it was kind of dark green and, right, kind of no crystal.
You commented the bud didn't look
Yeah,
like it.
yeah,
It looked like it was hand trim and didn't look like it had many trichomes on it.
right. But the flavor, yeah, it's
Oh, okay, yeah. Well,
yeah.
flavor is very important, and sometimes it's a
Well,
big
that's
deciding factor.
right as well. Like I mean, so I don't know. It smells good. It tastes pretty good. Yeah, I'm giving it probably a 9 out of 10 for this one.
Oh
Both
wow,
of them are really good. Like to be honest, like they're
both
both good. Like I
both.
can't believe the
You got
quality.
two. You got two strains there, or just both nugs?
No, two different strains I bought today.
Okay, same
Right? So
company.
I
Same
bought no,
company.
no. This is the QS one. This is the one I was smoking when I started the
Yeah,
show. This
that's
is
the
the one
LP's name, Quest.
Quest. Yeah, and they're out of Creston, British Columbia. These guys, and
Yeah,
they're a small micro too, right? And then we also had this is the one I'm smoking now, and it's called Glue Orangutan. It's a family-owned business, and this is a family strain.
glue
Family,
orangutan. I was
yeah.
like,
So this is
Gorilla
their
glue.
house bred strain. It says so. It's a
Smells
combo,
good.
yeah, of like OG Kush and Gorilla Glue for an Afghani.
Oh,
So yeah, so it's called Galurutan,
mm,
and it's got like that's their logo,
okay.
and they're called Good Supply. They're good
Oh, what?
buds, good buds, good buds,
Good buds.
good buds. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So that's it's tasty. That's one living soil. Yeah.
Now, also before the break, we were talking about Michelle Rainey, and talking
Yes.
about Michelle Rainey. Here's a little clip for everybody. So there you go. A little video clip of the marches that Aaron Butterfly
Yeah.
would hold in Toronto
Yeah.
after Michelle's passing, and people would gather. And as you saw, we came across a couple characters out there on the street.
Zombie walk.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I saw that Marie was in there too.
Yeah, Marie was there as well.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, that's one thing with cannabis too. Like the friends I've met along the way, I wasn't expecting that, right?
No, yeah.
And like that was the best part of this. Besides the law reform and besides, all the activities and stuff and
Stuff, yeah, yeah.
and
But you
doing
got
writing and all that stuff. I mean, but in reality, like meeting all those amazing people like from across the country, like going to Toronto the first year, like I had never been on a plane since like I was 19, my first trip.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to go to Ottawa to protest, like I hadn't been on a plane in years. I had never left Alberta. Like I'd never been to Saskatchewan. I'd never been to Ontario. I'd never been out, right? So it was like it was a real life changing experience. And then to meet everybody, and then call them family, right? That's who we
Yeah.
are. We're family, right? And I mean,
Have
sure,
them
we have
stay at
steps.
your house because
Yeah.
you had advocates stay on the way across the country.
Oh yeah. Always. Everybody was always welcome. If you were coming through, no matter where I was, and you were part of
Mhm.
it, like and that didn't. There were some that outstayed their welcome and became really, you know, weird about things. But my door was always open. And even with that experience with that person, my
Mhm.
door is still open. Right.
Right.
Oh, anybody, you're coming this way. You and Gail want to, take a trip and come camp out in BC. My door is wide open. You park in my
Well,
back.
you just never know. Maybe one day we'll show up.
Always, and that's the way it's always been. Like, and it's the same for me. Like, if I wanted to go out to the coast, I have several couches that I can
Yeah.
crash,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
or out,
Exactly.
to Toronto, several couches I can crash on, and you
Yeah.
know what I mean. Like,
Last time Cindy went on a tour across country, she stopped in here on the way through, and
yeah,
I said the same thing next time once she gets her van fixed. She's gonna do another tour, so I said, stop in on your way through, like especially if you're taking Trans Canada Highway, like you're literally a mile from my house. You should drive by my area.
she knows where I live. She's been here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cindy was here for my Kootenai Cannabis Cup.
Hmm?
Cindy was here for the Kootenai Cannabis Cup.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Cindy was here. Cindy stayed here.
Oh, see, like I said,
Yeah.
everybody travels through, stops in at your place.
It was a designated trip, but that was when I first started planning it. I was going to have those cabins available. We were going to have like vendors and do
Oh,
this thing, and then that all fell through.
right.
And then I ended up having to rent hotel rooms because like Dee Cochran and those guys came out from Nova Scotia. Like Amber and Mike stopped in too on their way because they were out here in this area too, right? And Asia was here the week before, but she had to go and get her kids, so she didn't get back here. But you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
a Deb Watson from Red Deer, who is now living in Mexico. So I had people from all over the country here in my backyard because no matter what, you guys paid for what and I refunded money and gave money back and rented hotel rooms for people and made it work, right?
Yeah, 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 exactly. Um,
It was a gong show, but we did it, and I
I
do it
found,
again.
I found a report. Actually, before I get to the report, you're talking about memories. I got a Facebook memory
Okay.
that came up today, and this one is 14 years old. Yeah,
Oh wow.
so, this
Oh,
is
Deb.
Deb and I wearing matching T-shirts from Roar, and you can see that they are signed as well from the guys at Roar, and that's Marco.
Yeah, that's Marco behind you.
Marco behind us, and what we did this year is we went for a tour around the different vapor lounges in Toronto. This was 2012.
She was at the Karma thing.
What's
You
that?
know, say she was around the table at the Karma.
Yeah, yeah.
I said hi about my comments. Anyway, go ahead.
So yeah, so we were at the lounge, okay? So we're sitting there. We got doing dabs. That was my son. That was my son there, and that's his partner Sharon. Sharon would come to the different events with me with Treating Yourself, and we would educate people about cannabis. And now she's the mother of
Your
my
green babies.
third youngest grandchild. Yeah. There's Naomi with
Yes.
Deb. Yeah, having a good time. And this is that Vape on the Lake. You can see the artwork in the back. That's
Oh, yeah.
Michelle. That's Michelle Rainey over Deb's. Michelle and Jack.
Back
Yeah, that was the see they got wings on them, right?
Yep.
Yeah, just having a good time, and that's what happened in these lounges, and they went and made them illegal because of smoking. And then you can see there's the Roar bong in the handcrafted wooden case. that is the vapor bong. You could win that, as you can see the picture there, right? Oh, there we go. Got a little closer. Yep, that's the vapor bong. You can see on the front there by the handle. That's the element for the vapor.
That vapor lounge wasn't open when I was out there. I didn't make it out there.
Oh, you didn't get there?
No, because Shane was running it, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Him and Amber.
Yeah, there's Denise.
Oh, is there yet? Yeah, I remember
there's
them.
Ted and Gail. So we went from Vape on the Lake, and now we're at Vapor Central in Toronto.
Right, I've been to Vapor Central.
There on his Hempology 101 book tour.
Yeah, I have that book too.
Still wearing that same roller t-shirt.
I was probably in Toronto when you this.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Deb and her daughter.
Here's Mike and Denise.
Deb. Yeah, Vapor Central. You see, vapor bag joint.
Yeah.
In the hand, right? God. Gail, Deb meeting Gail. Vapor Central.
Yeah.
Photos, yeah.
That's nice.
So yeah, it was actually a tour that I brought my son, and Deb brought her daughter, and as well as my son's partner Sharon there, and we went for the big tour around to 5 lounges that day.
That's awesome.
Yeah, big day. I'm tired. Yeah, and dealing with traffic. It's not as if each lounge is beside each other either, right? Like,
no.
Marco's was in Mississauga, and then the ones in Toronto, you could get them that weren't too far apart. You could get somewhere you could walk to, but
right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a memory that came up. It was Deb. It was a birthday tour because Deb and I are born on the same day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but 1 year apart.
Yeah.
1 year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so we usually do, celebrate or whatever. And she was over for the judging party and spent the weekend here. And she tried to surprise me.
Did you know her before cannabis, or did you meet her because of cannabis?
Because of cannabis.
Nice.
Yeah. She went out and got a chicken outfit from somewhere. And her plan was, and she was going to take that chicken outfit and she was going to go running through the fields, hoping to go in front of my trail camera and act like a chicken, right? and then she made me a birthday card. Well, it's not just a birthday card. It's like Bristol board size birthday card.
Super
how come it's so big? And she says, well, so you can read it in your camera. Problem was my trail camera was broken, so it wasn't even out.
No. That's a good idea. But no, she's super talented. Like, she's super artsy, like the pumpkins.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? She's super talented.
Yeah, and she really, for years, she really enjoyed pumpkins, and she painted pumpkins left and right all the time.
Great cakes and stuff too.
Cakes too, yeah.
I remember all that stuff. Would you have Georgia Strait? Like, whatever happened to her too? I never see Georgia anymore.
Georgia Tunes?
Yeah.
She's. I see her post on Instagram.
Oh man, maybe I've got her.
I sort of look at it, over the years, like you and I mentioned earlier, people have come and gone because they passed on. But people have also have come and gone out of the cannabis community, not only because they've passed on, but also because, life changes. They could become ill, they just can't do it anymore because of whatever reason.
Yeah, she was issues with her eyes, wasn't she?
She was very sick there for a while, and I know that she still posts. And I saw a picture recently that she posted with her and Norm. So it was an anniversary post.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I just came across
Storm.
the cards that I had bought from her at TY, because there's a
Yeah.
fire that I keep beside the door all the time with all the things that are important to me, right? Because we got
Mhm.
fire. I opened it up the other day to get it, kind of make sure like what was going through, and I had to find Taven's birth certificate to register him for high school, and it of course was in that suitcase. So that's where my Georgia Tunes postcards are in my bag. So
Yeah.
I important things to take.
Yeah, I've got one of those memory videos that I've made, and it's on TY Expo. And it was on the exhibitor floor, and Georgia Tunes is in there, and Marie is in there at the booth, at Georgia Tunes booth. And for those who don't know, Georgia Tunes cartoonist extraordinaire, cannabis cartoonist. She was drawing all kinds of stuff, and it was featured all over the place and outran in Treating Yourself magazine.
Yeah, but her son had gotten sick, and she got involved.
Strong. Yeah. Well, yeah, he was one of the youngest, people,
Yeah.
medical access. There was a story, like, their story was published, and she talked about having to give, him, tokes out of a bong. Nobody wasn't talking really about any edibles or anything. She didn't know how to administer to a. I
Same
think,
with Cheryl.
thinking that I can't remember exactly how old he was when she finally
It was
had him
14,
by a
15,
bomb.
way too. Because Haley had to put a mask over her face, like a medical mask.
Yeah, I was thinking he was.
Brutal.
Yeah, but he was young. Like, he wasn't 18 or anything like that.
No.
Yeah, he was young, and I read about that. The bong, and she, there was no other. She didn't know any other way. So it's good. She ended up using her cartoons to educate people on things like that, on how to consume and
every TY magazine.
Yeah,
Always
yeah.
in the magazine.
Always look forward to them.
Yeah.
So it was good. Good. And she would get together with other artists, at the expo. Other artists would be there. So.
Yeah. Good times. Like,
Good
really,
time.
those were
All
good.
right. I've got a short report here before we go to break. It'll take us to break. And it's not something that we hear about. Like, we hear about secondhand smoking, tobacco smoking, but do we ever hear about secondhand reports on secondhand cannabis smoking? And I seen this and I thought, wow, what's this all about, right? And the headline says health effects of secondhand cannabis smoke. And they did this test. Where was it? I'm thinking it was Ohio. But the UCs, yeah, University of Cincinnati. There you go, University of Cincinnati. And they say, a lot of people think that cannabis secondhand smoke would be the same as tobacco secondhand smoke, but there's two different products that are burning, so there's different particles or whatever things are created while they're burning. And this guy here says that obviously, that's not true. And so what they did is they tested people who were not smokers, who were in an outside setting with cannabis smokers. And they tested them, and they said, where was it? Well, they said one study tested security workers after an outdoor concert venue who were exposed to secondhand cannabis smoke for several hours. There was detectable THC in the blood and the urine samples from the outdoor, circulating at the outdoor event. But what they found is that it was so small, the detectable level wouldn't show any impairment.
We tested Taven with one of them strips. We tested his pee when he was about 3 years old.
Oh yeah.
It never came up with nothing.
Nothing, eh?
Nothing. So either he wasn't like exposed to enough of it or whatever. Yeah, like, and he was like, you know, and we were like, we tried to not, like, he wasn't not in the same room kind of thing, right? But yeah, nothing.
Right.
Because a lot of people test positive to THC when they go for a job, right? And then they say, oh, I was in a room with my, you know, so and so at a party, blah blah blah, try and get off it. But it depends on the level. If the level are high enough to be detected, they lied, they smoked cannabis. Just saying. So when we had all these exuberant levels of all these people are getting high off secondhand smoke, and I'm going, bullshit.
Yeah. Well, they also found something else with this test. They said that they also found that law enforcement officers were more likely to report itchy eyes, burning red eyes, headaches, higher levels of anxiety. Yeah.
Levels of anxiety for what? What do they be anxious about?
I don't know.
You know, all combinations of all kinds of different cannabis. It's not all sativa, it's not all indica. It's going to be all combined in the air.
Right.
Maybe they're getting all this from, just from people's perfumes. You know what I mean? Like people wearing cologne. Maybe it's the fact that they got hot. Maybe
it's not the cannabis. It's not the cannabis. It's caught getting them.
It is.
Yeah.
People lie. That's exactly what you find, right? Is that people lie, and people aren't always honest. So again, people, go for a drug test for a job, and they, you tested positive for THC. And I was in a party. No, they lied. They smoked cannabis at that party. They're just trying to, blame somebody else for the fact that they just got caught.
Yeah. Well, hey, it worked for Ross.
Whatever worked for Ross. Hello. But again, like, I just think people lie and that's, I'm just.
Yeah. Alrighty. I guess we still got 3 minutes left. I thought it was something. What's that? Oh, I thought it was a cat.
No, this is.
Sorry, buddy.
This is Bubba. Everyone calls him Joe Dirt. So this is Bubba, and he's just a puppy, and he was a year old now, but he's a pain in the butt.
Yeah, but isn't he full grown?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he is.
Did you think when you say puppy, you think that he could grow a little bit more?
He turned a year old last.
Yeah.
On the 16th, we had the C-section in that huge bill. Remember? C-section on the 15th of July. So this dog, was born C-section a year ago.
All righty, I'm gonna go to break.
Yep.
When we get back, I got some information here in front of me on what the scheduling could happen. What could happen with the scheduling of cannabis in the U.S.?
Oh, we were talking about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's been a real long, slow process, and it's got to come to an end.
Telling us that on our last show about how that's working.
Yeah. I got some numbers. Some people have been crushing out some numbers, so we got some information on that.
We also have a new candidate for president, and she's
Well, I got a report on that as well.
Okay.
All righty. Well, after the commercial break we go. Time to pay those bills. When we return, we'll continue our discussion. We're going to talk the U.S. cannabis situation. You're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're live here at paceradio.net.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. Open Monday to Friday from 10 till 7 p.m. or by chance. Check out our flags, our t-shirts, plus our hats. And look of that supply of rolling papers, plus much more. We've got bongs and your favorite herbal vaporizers. Look at all the incense we have. As well as, for those who collect knives, check out these knives in our collection. And while you're here, stop in to see Shay at the piercing room, where you can get poked by Shay. Daily deals, check them out. Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford, Ontario.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20 is so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420 enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyndonega Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
What do you find at paceradio.net? People advocating cannabis education.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
And you're watching the Pace Radio Show. We're back and we're live, and got a message. Daryl from Zero High says hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, just so you know, they are a company, a legal company that produces tinctures. There's a company that he works for. So I checked it out during break. So as I mentioned before the break, what's that?
He's pretty close. He's like in the same kind of vicinity as this stuff comes from. I won't say.
Is it?
I haven't met him before personally.
Do you know him?
I don't know him, but I had Camilla on my show a few weeks ago, right?
Oh,
So-
right, okay.
Right. So yeah. So I haven't met him. No, because I'm like.
I think we talked. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I don't have time to breathe.
Okay. All right. I mentioned the U.S. and rescheduling, and I had a couple reports. The first one I was going to mention is that they figure 50,000 jobs by 2030.
50,000 jobs doing what?
Yeah. I think there's already many more than that have already been created. And
What are you talking about when they reschedule it and
reschedule? Take it from 1 to a 3.
But federally, you mean?
Yeah, federally from 1 to a 3. But that does not.
It doesn't remove it off.
Well, it's not legalization. That's not decriminalization. That's not legalization. It would still remain illegal. People would still get arrested. People would still go to jail.
Well, it's kind of like, like in where's Pennsylvania? Is that where she's from? Where you can't possess it, you can't sell it, you can't buy it, but you can consume it.
Are you talking about Dawn that we had on last week?
Yeah.
Virginia.
Sorry, Virginia. But yeah, like just kind of like weird laws like that where it's just it's illegal, but you can't do this, you can't grow, you can't what? So you can't even access it, but it's legal. Okay.
Right. Yeah. And what else they say on there? I don't know where the 55,500 jobs. They talk about money. I don't mention that sometimes because some of them have been off quite a bit over the years.
5,000 new jobs across the whole country. That's like nothing. Like that's a huge.
That's what I was thinking. That it's when you look at how many people are there, it's really not a lot of jobs. So, yeah. What else I've got here on that? And it's a, they went through a stage where they wanted input. That's basically what we had here in Canada. And but even still, the numbers aren't big when you look at the number of people. They had 43,000 people comment. You would think that it might be more than that, with 360 million people in your country.
Right. And that there's
And they're not all adults, obviously. So let's say half of them are adults. So there's 180 million
look at the
people.
population of Colorado and how many jobs are already in Colorado. There's probably 55,000 jobs in Colorado alone.
Yeah.
So like rescheduling it's not going to change much. It's not going to change you know what I mean? What is that going to do?
The rescheduling, well, what it would do is on the business end of things, okay? A business could file the 280E form, which allows them write off tax things
and
for
allows
tax.
them to use the banking system.
Correct. Right. So there's that, and research would be could be done. I'm not saying it wouldn't be wide open type thing, but it'd be allowed now.
Right.
Yeah. Now, from a quick glance at that report, I believe that a majority of those people said that, what do you mean, Schedule 3? Let's just deschedule it.
That makes no sense.
Take it out so it's not against the law. Just deschedule it.
That doesn't make any sense. It seems redundant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they should just. Yeah. They say nearly all comments were in favor of rescheduling. Okay, according to an analysis. Okay. 91% of the comments supported rescheduling or requested that the administration take another step and deschedule it entirely.
Right. Yeah.
That's right. That's exactly. So.
Right.
Yeah.
This just seems the ridiculous way that Americans do things, right? Like there's also like they talk about our systems being overregulated. Like in state by state, it's completely different, county by county, and you got all like.
Well, yeah, and I think that's what's going to happen is they will. Well, we have it sort of like that. We have here in Canada, right? We have the federal end where they've got their hands in it. And then we have our provincial end that has their hands in the states. They're going to have the federal thing, but they're going to have, I can see where states are allowed to do things that they want to do.
Yeah, but there's also county to county down in the state.
Correct. Like we have our town to town.
We have but we have counties and municipalities too. They got municipalities and counties, right? But our counties aren't like their counties. Like we've got like our county doesn't bother about like so many things like. I don't even know what they worry about wildfires, taking care of nothing. They don't have any say in shit, really, around here anyway.
Yeah, we'll see like their municipalities, they can add like a 2% tax on it, but they can opt out of cannabis just like we could here in Ontario, where we could opt out of sales. So the same in BC, right? So that's happening down there as well. In places. Now, you asked me just before the break. You had mentioned about a change at the top of the ticket on the Democratic Party, and so I found an article here that said, what does this mean for cannabis, with not only Harris coming in, but also with Vance going on the other side. Right. So, and I'm just trying to keep this cannabis related. Okay. Where are we here? I'm just trying to see. Okay. So where does JD Vance stand on cannabis? Let's see. Trump's opinions of cannabis are seemingly mixed, arguing for states' rights to regulate on their terms, while also claiming genetically engineered cannabis may be blamed for mass shootings.
What?
That's what it says. I just read it right out.
What?
Yeah, I've read that in the past. Yeah, genetically engineered cannabis may be to blame for mass shootings.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're fucking like that's most. All right, we have to make
now. It says here's Vance's opinions are less clear. He voted against the Safer Banking Act, citing safety concerns.
For what? What safety concerns are there?
I don't know. Just that's how it says. He also reportedly said he's not a fan of recreational cannabis, while at the same time admitting you don't want people thrown in prison for having a dime bag. And he seems to line up with the states' rights end of things. Now, as far as the other end of stuff, obviously there's no VP on the Democratic side because she has the presumed nominee hasn't picked a vice president yet.
No, but she is the VP right now, so her stance would be as the vice president now.
Yeah. Now, as a prosecutor, Harris garnered nearly 2,000 cannabis convictions.
I know that. I knew.
Okay. Now, as part of Biden's ticket, she's been pushing for rescheduling to be finalized. And some insiders believe Harris may even push harder for broader reform, including decriminalization.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to click on that. I'm clicking on that link to see what it says. It says subscribe.
She was exposed to Canadian culture. She went to school in Montreal.
Yeah.
When she was a teenager in her early 20s, going to university in Canada, because that's why they were
right.
So Kamala has probably not inhaled.
Yeah. No, she should smoke.
There you go.
Yeah. She also appeared with some people during a second chance month or something, and she says that nobody should go to jail for smoking cannabis. So her stance has reformed over the years. And I did find a post earlier because somebody else asked about, where does she stand on it? And I posted to them that some people believe that she'll go further with the cannabis rescheduling than what Biden had planned.
She's a lot more liberal than Biden. And that's the biggest thing that Trump is like pumping right now is like, she's so left. She, you know what I mean? She's more left.
I heard it over the weekend. Yeah. So
anyway,
I think
this is going to that's perfect. That's lovely. I love it. Cannabis has a chance.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm going to say. After the election, obviously, all that gets determined. But yeah, well, there's a thing too as well that it could become someone's platform. One of the two parties, it could end up on the platform.
Oh, they got to
down right now. I can tell you right now. I think I read a report earlier today that Florida, which Ron DeSantis, looks like he's gonna probably veto it down there. So
what, cannabis legalization in Florida?
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. It hasn't gotten to that point, but I'm expecting it.
Of course he would.
Yeah, he says he's against it because it's going to increase the illicit market.
No, it actually takes the illicit market out. Like, what is he on? It's the same with these people that going, oh, well, they legalized drugs in BC, blah, blah, blah. No, they didn't. They decriminalized them, far from legalizing them. And you know what they fucked up? Safe supplies pills. So those people are taking their pills and they're treating with manufacture the shit first and you would have got it right.
Right.
There it is, and it's gonna happen. You wait, it's happening.
Yeah, no. Well, I just it's It's got to happen. But I think that I can see one party doing it before the other party, and it's going to require them to have all 3 locations in order to be able to do it. So
We need to actually have every province flipped over, because it won't matter at this point in time, because you've got all across the board except for Manitoba here and Nova Scotia that are a different party than what the other party is. It won't happen because it'll be left back to the provinces like it is, because no other province, Ontario was looking at it, but they were looking at British Columbia as a model, right? But British Columbia was the first ones to step forward and try this, right? And it's still decriminalized here. It hasn't changed. The only
oh
thing,
no, you're talking about the
the only thing is
decriminalization of
that
all
it's
drugs.
not used in public. So before, it wasn't like that was like, oh yeah, here you go, here's your drugs, go off and do it in public. That's not the way it was. They just weren't pursuing anything to do with them using in public. But since the public has said, hey, like, this is enough, right? And agree. Like,
Yeah,
I don't want to go
Ford's already said he's against it. So.
in Cranbrook and see somebody using in front of the cannabis store, or going to work this morning and somebody has been using there and they've peed in front of the store doors, because that's what I went to work for this morning at 8 o'clock.
If you smoke a joint in front of a cannabis store, do you use her?
No, but you're not going to sit down and pee all over everything and sit there with your shopping cart. And I'm not trying to shame anybody, but enough is enough in public. So give them safe consumption sites, which they refuse to do too, right? It's just it's a mess, and it's causing a lot of division. And that, what I would say, is even more division than COVID.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I see it in the news, and you know, I don't think anybody's really got an answer to it. A lot of people were trying to come up with solutions. You know, we've done the lock and throw away the key thing. It didn't work.
Universal income
and housing, right?
And housing, and
it helps.
Control.
It all helps.
And I hate to say this, but rental control. And how about some caps back on some provinces for their electricity and their gas? So there's a lot that the government can do in some provinces, but like BC, we are BC Hydro. It's all still control our insurance, right? Like, we just got $110 back from the BC government for our insurance, because if you're in good standing, you paid your insurance, they gave us $110 each as a rebate back.
Rebate that so you've given them money. Yeah, I don't give anybody any money for.
Yeah, that's what we got in BC, right? And then we also, like I said, people are getting their carbon rebates in the mail, in their bank accounts too, if you qualify for that. So you don't hear a lot of complaining right now. I know all the numbers of people that aren't camping. It's pretty funny, the people that they're camping. You can't get a camp.
Camping is good. Gets you out, fresh air, right?
And out in nature, put your feet in the ground, feel better.
Yeah. Well, exactly. You know, I was away on the weekend and spending some time in nature, and I took some videos, and I'm going to use them as little clips. Those little clips that I made.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all the ones you have the deer in your yard too. Hey, have you ever tracked down that porcupine? Did you ever figure out the porcupine you had?
No, I haven't seen it in quite a while, but I can tell you something died. I don't know what it was, but something died, and it was quite the odor for a while. I don't think it was porcupine. I believe he just moved on. I think, like, because I know that there was another culvert in the property, and it was up there the last I saw it. So this is the time of year I should be going down there and plugging that other culvert so I can't get back in it.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it that it's not a water source for your well, or do you have a well, or?
No, we have a well, but it's not a water source for our well. No, it goes to a pond, but it's not our water source.
And what do you use the pond for? Is it just kind of like there? Like you guys
it's just there. Yeah, it's a natural pond. It's fed by springs, underground springs.
Can you use it to kayak on? Like, is it dirty? Like, can you swim in it?
No, I can't swim in it, but it's been used to play hockey on in the wintertime.
Oh, well, you could probably kayak on it then too. Is it big enough that you could kayak around on it?
No, not really.
Just suggestions. But
Yeah,
anyways,
yeah.
I'm just gonna
And
answer
there's no
Daryl here.
fish in it either. There would be no fish in it.
I'll tell you,
I mean, all
$44
kinds of-
million in taxes was collected. They'll account. They have, how much it costs just to give people the services they need. But anyways, this is not. If this is cannabis related, 75% of cannabis taxation goes to the province, not the federal government. Just saying, right? And then the municipalities get a portion of that too. So all the cannabis funds, and they don't make that much. There's no 44 billion. They make 1.9 billion a year on cannabis taxation per province, depending. And it goes, where they put that money in? Back into law enforcement and community safety units. And not that we're happy about that, but that's where a lot of the cannabis funds and taxation goes to. And it goes to the province, and the province distributes it. If they're missing money, you could probably ask next door that they spent, millions of dollars on turkey and aspirin and all kinds of silly things. But again, that's not cannabis related. But I'll guarantee you that all the cannabis money that they've collected goes to the provinces first. 75%. The feds keep
75. Yeah, 75% of the tax is collected.
That's that's misinformation. I'm sorry. Anyways, but again, so yeah, but those clips and stuff of being in nature are perfectly, and you only got your, you don't want to give away your location too much.
Alrighty, what we got? 9 minutes left.
Alrighty.
Okay.
But yeah, it's not so hot out here now, too. It's kind of cooled down a bit.
Well, we had a storm. I wasn't even sure whether I was going to be able to broadcast.
Oh, I was wondering.
Okay, we had tornado warnings,
but not much. You got what? Sorry.
We had tornado warnings.
Oh.
So I wasn't even sure whether I was even going to be able to do a broadcast. And then the tornado warnings dropped, and just a thunderstorm notice remained. And I looked at the map, the weather map, radar map. That's the word, radar map. And there's a big red spot at 8 o'clock, right where I'm going, oh shit. That's not gonna look, so I had plan B just in case the weather went bad.
I kind of miss that because we don't because I'm in the mountains, tornadoes really are a non-issue here. We've never had, when we get heavy duty thunderstorms, we don't have to worry about lightning and that kind of stuff. But when I lived on the prairies, remember, I don't know if you ever saw some of the pictures that I would put up of the big swirling clouds that would be over top of my house and stuff, like Tornado Alley. And I used to chase them. I miss that.
Well, apparently Ontario was overtaking the West as Tornado Alley.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was surprised.
Well, the humidity levels too, right? Because on the prairies it's pretty dry, so you get the hot air and it doesn't cool, and you don't have that heavy air from the humidity, right? So yeah, maybe that's the difference. Because out here it's like BC's got more humidity levels than Alberta, but when I lived on the prairies out there on that ranch, it was mind you, my lawn. Yeah, I don't know what day it is. I don't know if it's my watering day or not, but I've got to really I should put a sprinkler on it.
Are you restricted on your watering?
Only allowed 2 days a week, and I'm not even sure what my days are because honestly.
Well, look at it this way: if you don't water it, you don't need to cut it.
Yeah, that too, but it's brown, like it's bad. And my yard's
dry. Yeah,
it's bad.
Yeah, that happens here too.
And then it's too hot.
August, I always look at the month of August as our drought season.
Yeah, well, it's like, but it's been 36 degrees even at like 9 o'clock at night. Do you really want to be putting a sprinkler on? Because we have to do like water between 7 at night and 11, like 7 and 11. But you go to
nighttime. Yeah,
36 degrees. You don't want to put your sprinkler on at 36 degrees outside. It's just so hot.
So
right?
evaporate.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe I'll go sneak it on once it gets dark at 11 o'clock and let it run.
Yeah, I don't even like watering in the daytime.
No, I won't. No, I go out in the morning and water all my like stuff on the garden I wasn't gardening with. That garden. Yeah. But even tonight I watered my tomatoes this morning before I went to before I went to work, and I got home after work at 3 o'clock because I worked the day shift today. Right? They were dry already, and my tomato was hurting. It needed water. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna get a lot of rain tomorrow, so we got lots of water going on, so I won't have to.
It's so bad. We got fires. Like top of the mountain is burning, and that's not really close to me. Like it's like not close really at all, but it's close to Invermere, Windermere, Fairmont, Stadium. There's a recovery center up there at the top of that area too. It's a provincial park. There's camping and lake. Yeah, but that's just one of the 500 I think that's burning in the province.
Oh, boy. That's too many fires.
Well, Jasper too. Like Jasper's like the Jasper National Park is on fire. Like they pretty much had to evacuate all those people in Hinton and in Jasper. They were trying to get them into Kamloops, but there's fires in Kamloops, so they had to kind of reroute them in down through our area, which has put our volume traffic up and causing issues on our highways. So I've been hearing a lot about that. My road pages, and I sent an email or a message off to the Ministry of Transportation saying, like, can we do anything? Do you have a contact at the RCMP? Like, they need some more traffic control out there. Like, people are speeding and bitching about people going slow, and there's going to be accidents. We already had like 4 fatalities in the last couple of weeks as it is. So
yeah. Oh, I heard a rumor there the other day. Saw it online that the town that I used to live in that had opted out of cannabis. Apparently, someone's posted that there's a cannabis store on the way.
I know, right? You had said that because they got a new city council members or something, right?
Oh yeah. Things were changed. Yeah.
Did you present to the new city council too?
I spoke to the town council here and there when they had the public meetings. I went to the meetings. But no, I saw a post because the local vape store, like they had an e-juice style vape store there.
Oh yeah.
And the store's closed, so someone posted that they said that they heard that it's a cannabis store is going in there. So that'd be interesting to see if they get a cannabis store.
That makes a lot of sense because they'd already be pre-licensed for tobacco, right? So tobacco, laundry,
windows were already covered up and the whole bit, right?
You don't have to have them covered up in BC anymore.
Yeah, you do here.
Yeah, that's what kind of threw me off when they first did it, because I was like looking, and I go to pull in, I park like an asshole because the screens were down and you could look right into the store. We said, sorry, I parked like an asshole because the windows are open. Like, what the fuck? And then so she told me that they don't have to have their windows all blacked out anymore.
No. Just the employees.
Yeah, I don't know. Safer for the employees if they're not blacked out. That's right.
Yeah, there's still, I can tell you from experience, just because you have windows that aren't blocked out, it's not going to stop someone from robbing the business. But the blocked windows adds to it all. Yeah,
I remember the first time that I walked into Cobb. That was my first trip to Ontario too, and that was like that a big, tall, massive guy standing at the doorway, and you had to show your papers, and you walked into this little cage, and then you had to go into this other cage and show another guy your paperwork. And then everything was behind glass, and then you go up the stairs, and there's girls standing behind like bulletproof glass, and I'm like, holy fuck, like this is like high security. I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah. When I was dealing with the compassion clubs in Toronto, way back when, we'd have to show ID at the door that's outside, and then we'd have to show ID when we went to enter the actual business. And this particular compassion club was inside a professional building, and I mean by that there was other doctors and dentists and so on and so forth that were in this building, and they all knew that the dispensary was in there.
Right.
But it was on that same line. They were there as for medical purposes.
Right. Well, that made sense. But it wasn't what I was expecting. So when they opened the recreational, I was kind of shocked that there wasn't security. You know what I mean? Like they had the hashing clubs, but again, that was also downtown Toronto too, and it wasn't in a seedy area. I think it was Yonge and Dundas. It wasn't like. But that's right downtown Toronto, right? Where Com was.
Right. Yeah, it was downtown. Yeah.
So
it was run by Neve. He connected to the Global Marijuana March.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. But
Sandra worked there and Amy worked there. And
that's why I went there, because this was before all the shit went down, right? This is like
yeah,
well before the raid and stuff, right? Because
right.
then they had, all the raids of Project Claudia and stuff.
Claudia.
Was gone on with a lot. But yeah, but that was my first experience at a compassion club in downtown.
That was good. I always enjoyed going to them. Everybody got along great, and there was what was it? Celebrations. Whether it was not birthdays, but I mean like Christmas. They would have things and different events, and everybody was there to help everybody. So
Amy still does cookies and canvas.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, she does that at Christmas time for the homeless. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. Well, we've been talking for an hour and a half, so I guess for me to say anything else you want to mention before we sign off?
No. Have a good week.
Right. Okay. All right. That's it. We'll be back next week. And don't forget, you can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. I'd say Twitter, but I have discovered over the last week and a half that at least my X account won't allow me to live stream to X anymore unless you ante up with some cash. That's new.
No, I don't have X.
Yeah, I know you don't. All right. Thanks to our sponsors, Legacy420.com, Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, Limestone, City Hydroponics .ca, as well as at ease.ca with a hyphen in there. Plus, thank you to our viewers for tuning in the program, and we'll all see you next week. Other than that, good night.
Good night.
Let's share PACE everywhere. That way it can help create peace. People everywhere advocating cannabis education.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.